Communist parties in India are facing the worst crisis yet. Except in Kerala, they are fighting for relevance, electoral relevance everywhere else. What's their future in India? What's the future of Communist parties in India? Can they bounce back? How can they bounce back? Now, if there is one person who has been racking his brain day in, day out with these questions, and he's sitting with me, Comrade M.A. Baby, General Secretary of the Communist Party of India, Marxist. So everybody is in India at least writing the left off. In fact, I was talking to a friend from a JNU days. He was in ISA then, and we started talking about the left. He started quoting what Trotsky had to talk about Mensheviks. That your role is played. Go where you belong from now on, into the dustbin of history. There's so much of cynicism and bitterness even among those who were in the left. How do you explain that?
You see, it's true that we encounter such questions not only within our country, from other, spheres of the world, Western Hemisphere, left, according to those who are very critical about the left, say that the relevance of the left is no more. We heard about the end of history. You see, then like people, Samuel Huntington wrote about Clash of Civilizations, where the communist, leftist, forces are being removed from the forces which are contending for supremacy. But my question, first of all, is without communists and the left, would there be a future for humanity or future for people of our country? Because communists and left contributed immensely in reshaping the future, in setting up the agenda, flagging the problems of the poorest of the poor. Who else genuinely take up? Where else meaningful land forms got implemented? Only in left ruled states. These are the facts. Now, recently, the wages of workers in different provinces of India were being discussed. State of Kerala provides most respectful, wage structure for daily workers, regular workers, and so on. Peasants' plight, you see, the suicide of peasants increased under Narendra Modi. Statistics, I don't want to bring in the dry statistics. So left and communists, they have a historic role. In today's India also, they have to play a very important role. Within few days, we are going to have a nationwide strike of workers. This is to protect the rights of the workers. You see, working hours, centuries ago in Chicago, 8 hours work, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest, that slogan was raised. But now it's being taken back. So, under the leadership of the left, even non-left trade unions are also coming together to raise the slogan of workers, peasants, and poorer sections of society. Electorally, you are right. We are undergoing a decline, but sooner or later, we will be able to overcome that.
From 43 seats as CPIM in 2004 to 3 in 2019 and 4 in 2024. If you look at the vote share of the CPIM in Bengal or Tripura, it's almost irrelevant. How do you explain that?
First of all, to set record straight, in the latest Lok Sabha elections, the left could gain 3 seats from the Hindi heartland. CPIML won 2 seats in Bihar. CPIM won a seat from Rajasthan. And we contested few more seats in Bihar and elsewhere. In Bihar, for example, the difference of CPIM candidate with the opponent and CPI candidate with the opponent is not very significant. So, in a smaller way, we are again registering our presence even in Hindi heartland. But electoral decline is a fact. There is no doubt about that. We are very seriously, trying to find out how this has happened, how the setback. Of course, there are certain reasons already well known. All sections have rallied against the left in West Bengal. Then near semi-fascist terror was also used at different occasions. In 1972, this had happened, but we came back in 77. Similarly, we will come back in Bengal also. Maybe not so fast, but definitely we will come back.
But the BJP has emerged as the principal opposition party there. And you don't really see the left improving much in Bengal. What gives you that hope?
It is a very disturbing fact which you have pointed out, the emergence of BJP there. You see, there are many factors for that. The substantial presence of the minority in Bengal, RSS and Hindutva Sangha Parivar forces, they are in a heinous manner exploiting it, showing the minority and the neighboring country where Islamist forces are also very active. All this is very crookedly and cleverly being misused by BJP. That is one of the reasons. Then Mamata and BJP, they were in alliance. They were feeding each other. Mamata Banerjee was a minister in Vajpayee government. You see, we cannot forget all this. Now Mamata is posing that she is against BJP. We wish that she would firmly remain with that political position. The micro caste community and religion getting these factors as matters of exploitation, political exploitation by RSS and BJP. That is what made BJP a force to reckon with in West Bengal. And this binary between Mamata and BJP is very systematically being cultivated. Whether something more than what meets the eye, I am not very sure about this. Whether both these forces are trying to find it very convenient for them, you see, to feed each other and all that. But among the younger generation, in colleges and universities, SFI is emerging. Youth Federation is emerging. In rural areas, agricultural labor organization in Bengal, they are gathering strength. Women's Front, they are making significant progress. So, may not be in a very fast pace, we would emerge in West Bengal.
You know, we are talking at CPM headquarters, AKG Bhavan. In 2004, 2005 onwards, when I was a left beat reporter and I would be spending hours standing outside, there'll be a huge crowd of reporters, OB vans, till late into the night. Today I come here, it's almost deserted. How has it come about? Where did you lose the plot?
If this office and our party is fully deserted, then you would not have been talking to me.
I'm talking about people outside.
Yeah. You see, various factors are there behind that. You see, people generally, media also generally go after electoral performance. And electoral performance of CPI, M and the left, it's not as good as it used to be. But you see, in a state like Kerala, we have been able to rewrite the electoral history there. Because every 5 years, there used to be a change. But we have shown when some decline is found elsewhere, there we have seen that the LDF government has rewritten history and ensured its continuity. And within 1 year's time, we are going to have elections there. People would finally decide. We cannot predict anything. But the very fact that people seriously discuss whether there can be a third term for the LDF, the possibility of that happening, finally people will write history. That is I don't want to claim that we are going to have a third term, definitely. But there are very good possibilities of that. So it is, going by European standard, the population of Kerala is bigger than many European countries. So when Pinarayi Vijayan goes to, Cuba or any other country, the heads of state also wish to meet him. And now Sri Lanka, where rightish politics used to call the shots, Now a Marxist-Leninist party is in power there. New York, mayor, a pro-socialist, not fully socialist. We have our reservation. But Trump had to say that he is a extreme communist. People should not vote.
He called him communist lunatic.
Lunatic. And he himself described that he can negotiate with Xi Jinping well because Xi Jinping knows that I am a crazy man. That is, Trump claims himself to be crazy. See, he can say anything. But the fact that in United States of America, in New York City, a progressive democratic is emerging. Not only Bernie Sanders, new pro-progressive people are emerging in different parts of the globe. Latin America is progressive. In Europe, you find a lot of working class upsurges, peasant upsurge, and in fact, a peasant struggle, practice what the peasants did in Delhi, bringing in tractors to the city. You see, so some of our struggle methods of peasants are being copied by European peasants. So this give and take is happening, and through that process, in India also, the left would be able to restore its important position that the entire political process would be forced to reckon with.
So you were talking about Pinarayi Vijayan. Will he be the chief minister if LDF wins in the coming election?
You see, during every election, we don't say that so and so would be the chief minister. Pinarayi Vijayan became chief minister twice. After our victory, party leadership meets, party committee meets, they take the decision. So if we are going to have a third term, who should be the chief minister would be a call that we will have to address as and when we get a majority. During the election, being the Politburo member and the incumbent chief minister, he would be leading the campaign. He would be in the forefront of the battle to ensure that the left will have a continuation. After that, the leadership issue, without any difficulty, we would be able to decide.
Because you also have this age ceiling of 75 years. Pinarayi Vijayan has already crossed that. Will that be a factor when you sit down to decide who will be the chief minister?
You see, for every rule, there will be exception. It is a rule. Exemption is part of the rule. If there is a rule, exemption also is possible. In the present Central Committee, notwithstanding the age restriction that we scrupulously follow, 3 comrades have been given exemption. Not only Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan, Comrade Tarigami, MLA and CC member from Jammu and Kashmir, he has exemption. Then women's leader, Comrade P.K. Srimati, who was a minister earlier and a Lok Sabha member, she got exemption. So is the case of Comrade Pinarayi. In states, some comrades got exemption. For example, Manik Sarkar, he got exemption to be in the state committee in Tripura. So this is a question party would discuss and decide as and when a decision is needed.
Why would you even think about giving an extension to a chief minister? Because the general allegation is that he is in total grip of the party. In the last cabinet, he in fact got rid of everybody who was earlier in the administration. He got a whole new set of ministers. In fact, his critics even call him Mundu Modi, Modi in dhoti. Basically saying that he is so much firmly in control. Is the CPIM in Kerala becoming a one-man party?
You see, being a party worker from Kerala, I am closely associated with the functioning of the party. Not only when Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan is a very important leader, Comrade V.S. Achyutanandan, he was described as a far larger leader, and he is 101. He is the only one who came out of the undivided CPI National Council to form the CPIM. Then I have had the undeserving, occasion or opportunity to be in the state secretariat when Comrade EMS Namboodiripad himself was a state secretariat member of the Kerala party. So when EMS was there, Comrade Nayanar was there, Comrade VS was there, now Comrade Pinarayi is there. I have had the humble, experience of being in the same committee, state secretariat, or attending the committee on behalf of the party center. At no point of time, no big leader single-handedly called the shot. It will be very difficult for you to believe it. There were occasions when about a matter, Comrade EMS says something, everybody thinks that that is gospel truth, last word. No. We discuss, and there were occasions when Comrade EMS's opinion became a minority. And the decision, nobody knew that. It is never reported in the press. We discuss. There will be decision by unanimity. There will be decision by consensus. There will be decision by majority. And there were many occasions when every important leader of our party in any state become a minority. But decision would be carried. So, Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan is no exemption to this principle that is being followed in the Communist Party. For you to understand, historically, Lenin was a minority in Bolshevik Party on many important issues. That treaty which Russia signed with Germany, Trotsky was there in the leadership. Stalin, Zinoviev, Kamenev, all of them were there. And Lenin was a minority.
But then what happened to Trotsky?
That's it. No. So historically, now we are speaking about the most important leaders' authority in taking a decision. Lenin could not take a decision without majority support. Long and short, your point is that now Pinarayi Vijayan takes all decisions. That is wrong. He submits to the party. Every decision of the government, he comes and discusses with the state secretariat and if need be, with the state committee. Even I was there very recently, some important matters. Before going to the secretariat, if need be, he discusses the Politburo members. Then goes to the secretariat, then goes to the state committee. He is not above the party. That is a media creation.
So we are talking about UPA left days. In hindsight, do you think it was a mistake to withdraw support from the UPA over Indo-US nuclear deal? Because from there, that became the watershed. From there, your decline started.
The decline, you have to inquire and study independently. For a communist party, with its support, how can a government sign an agreement to make the military industrial complex of USA a strategic partner of government of India? Can a communist party worth its name think about that? Now see the plight of India with its relationship with whether it is Joe Biden or any other previous president or the present President Donald Trump. We have been considered as a junior partner. Operation Sindoor. Trump says, I negotiated it. I called them, told them. They are wonderful leaders. They listen to me. So, this is how he says. And Mr. Narendra Modi, Indian Prime Minister, could so far never emphatically state what has happened. In Shimla Karar, we have to have all issues related with Pakistan to be discussed bilaterally and settled. There is no third party, intervention or participation permitted. What did Narendra Modi do? Why he had to do this? We wanted a special session of parliament. He is unable to. Because he has to work as a junior partner to United States of America, whether it is Modi or Manmohan Singh. So we will cooperate. We were not asking for share of power, did we? We were only interested in policy matters. We were insisting Manrega had to be implemented. They were not for that. We wanted right to education. We wanted food security. We wanted forest rights. We were only concerned about problems of the people. We never wanted a share. We never wanted a governor's appointment. We never wanted a Rajya Sabha member's nomination. We could get important portfolios if wanted. They wanted to join. We wanted left to join, CPM to join. So CPM always held certain principles. So 1, 2, 3 agreement. We were very, very firm that we should not go for that. Then I don't want to speak about a person who is no more, Mr. Manmohan Singh. I had very good personal relationship also with him. But he caved in. Sorry to say that. Then Congress leadership also had to. Then a communist party worth its name can never think about supporting such an agreement with not the people of America, but the military industrial complex of USA. That was the reason.
You were talking about Operation Sindoor, sir. You have a lot of questions about what happened. You have asked for the special parliament session also. Do you have questions about the success of Operation Sindoor? I mean, the way the government conducted it, or are you happy with the way things went on?
You see, we never wanted an escalation, armed escalation. Our party has always been very firm. We, along with the rest of people and political parties in our country, stood firm in condemning terrorism. And we also knew that forces across the border, Pakistan, especially those who are operating from Pakistan occupied Kashmir, they had their role. But the colossal fall of the security system, how 100 kilometers these extremists were able to come inside. These are all serious issues to be explained. But by launching Operation Sindoor, Mr. Narendra Modi wanted to put all this under the carpet, all these issues. What is the real achievement of Operation Sindoor? We don't want to dispute. We want Prime Minister to come and explain it to the members of Parliament. What are the facts? Now there is this controversy about whether Rafale got shot down. If so, how many? Numbers. The head of the Joint Defence Staff in Singapore, he made certain revelations. He said number of aircrafts, fighter aircrafts lost. That is not the important question. That we did. Number, I don't want to divulge due to obvious reasons. But we corrected. We immediately made a course correction. Therefore, end of the day, we are successful. That is what matters. Prime Minister is unwilling to say even this. It is a sad commentary on the Prime Minister that we are compelled to get information in bits and pieces from other sources. So he has to come clean. Now, he came out with a doctrine which is absolutely unworkable.
Anti-terror doctrine.
He says, if some terrorist activity happens somewhere, then we will target Pakistan. Because any terrorist activity, we would hold Pakistan responsible. So there can be independent, autonomous, irresponsible gangsters. If any such group wishes, if they organize a explosion somewhere, Modi has to act now as per his new doctrine. A responsible Prime Minister should not make that kind of. I don't know whether he had consultation with important people or not. So, so-called Narendra Modi doctrine is absurd. Now he says it's only paused. That means he himself is not satisfied or happy with what he is supposed to have achieved. He is not confident that people would respond. And we have our report that people have different types of response to this, what had happened. People went with Sindoor to houses and all that to make it a political campaign. They were driven away. Some people said that enough is not being done by you. Why are you coming with Sindoor? I don't know. That kind of things are there. So, the developments in the border, RSS and BJP would like to have always alive, so that as and when to make political capital, if they want some incident, they can trigger it. This is what Satyabal Malik stated. See, we have to be very careful about this.
You were talking about UPA left, sir. Your equations with the Congress over the years. I mean, it has been there right since Nehru's days, as far as I can recall. Like, you had a lot of issues with whether to go with him, not to go with him. Till now, that confusion persists. So in West Bengal, you align with the Congress. In Kerala, Congress is your biggest adversary. I mean, this is a very bizarre stretch of what we call, say, Hegelian dialectic in politics. What are you trying to do? A friend here, an enemy there. What kind of confusing signal is in there?
You see, first of all, you know, people can view political developments and our relationship with various different parties in different parts of the country, and you can raise questions. Why is it so here? Why it's not so there? That questions are all permissible, plausible, and we won't say that there is no ground to raise questions. But we don't have a political line followed by my party, which is confusing, which is very clear to us. I can give you friendly, I'm saying, a copy of our political resolution where this is being narrated. See, two aspects are there. The primary political task in India today is to isolate, expose, and defeat RSS controlled BJP in the center, in states. We would say that is not enough. We have to detoxify Indian society from what they have done during these years. In every cell of Indian society, the poison of communal divide and hatred is being injected by Sangha Parivar. Defeating them in an election alone is not sufficient. This is our view. So to defeat them, you have to have a political line. Maximize the anti-BJP vote wherever possible to defeat BJP and their allies. Okay. Now, with the complexity of our country, this political tactical line can be implemented taking into account of the state-specific situation. It cannot be uniformly implemented everywhere. It is not only an issue of left. We are sitting in Delhi. In India bloc, apart from Congress, Aam Aadmi Party also is an important factor. Has been. But even when Modi was ruling India, Delhi state was ruled by a constituent of the India bloc, which is Aam Aadmi Party. Now, in Delhi also a BJP government is there. How? Because two India bloc parties fought each other. And that advantage BJP took. Isn't it? You are not asking this question. You are asking,
but in that case,
please let me complete. Please let me complete. I am building my argument or my reply. So, our position is that due to the complexity of Indian political situation, it is a subcontinent with different languages, different cultures, different political, tradition and history. Different states would react to the all India situation differently. We have a Tamil Nadu model where most of the non-BJP political parties are together under DMK leadership to fight and isolate BJP and their allies. Now ADMK would be. But in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee claims that she is also opposing BJP. Then left is rendered not very, very powerful force there, but left is there. Congress is there. BJP is trying to capture Bengal. There's problem of cooperation. There should have been a cooperation with all non-BJP parties. But there are practical problems. Long and short, we have a clear-cut political tactical line which would work in many states. In some states, due to the peculiarity of that particular state, it would function in a different manner. Finally, according to CPIM and the left, the ideal approach is that try to field only one candidate against BJP and their allies. If you are unable to do that, and if you are going to fight amongst yourself also, when BJP also in the fray, ensure that your mutual fight is not going to be advantageous to BJP. That is what we should do and we need to do. In Kerala, there is one Lok Sabha member from BJP, Trichur. You just find out the votes that each friend got in the election 5 years ago. There is a fall of Congress vote to the tune of nearly 90,000. And the majority of BJP victorious candidate is 75,000. So arithmetic clears everything. It is at the cost of the votes of Congress that BJP won in Kerala. This is what we should ensure that won't happen in different parts.
If your primary aim is to defeat the BJP, would you be willing to have a kind of tactical understanding with Mamata Banerjee if she also agrees? If primary aim is to defeat the BJP.
This is a question which the Bengal leaders of various political parties will have to address. As of now, the attitude of Mamata Banerjee identifying the left and progressive forces also as her number one enemy in West Bengal, that is not providing any room for this kind of a question to be addressed. If she changes her attitude, it is only then this question can be taken up.
Because what we have seen in the past in West Bengal is left cadres, just to ensure the defeat of the Trinamool Congress, went with the BJP, voted for the BJP to defeat the Trinamool Congress. We are told things are changing now on the ground, but that happened. That confusion is still there. Who is the enemy number one in West Bengal?
So far as CPI is concerned, we reiterated this fact that our liberate our country from the clutches of BJP. And in West Bengal, presently Mamata Banerjee is creating problem for the left and democratic forces. So fight BJP nationally and fight Mamata Banerjee in the state. This is the slogan that the left forces are compelled to give in West Bengal situation. If political situation drastically changes in future, then that change situation would throw up new questions and we would be compelled to reply to those new questions also.
What kind of changes are we talking about?
Basically, the Trinamool Congress, first of all, it is steeped in corruption. Secondly, they don't follow any democratic norms. Hoodlums are being used to, through muscle power, Mamata is trying to win elections. Money power also. For that, corruption is being taken to question. So, all these approaches, then her hobnobbing with, BJP. If they were in alliance, you see, she was a railway minister in BJP government. So, we don't know whether there is something more than what meets the eye.
So I was talking about my days outside your party office. There was one day when Shashi Tharoor, who wanted to contest the election for UN Secretary General, came here to meet Prakash Kare to get his support for his candidature. Long time back, it happened 20 years. Today we know what's happening with Shashi Tharoor. If he comes to you, fine, I'm done with the Congress, would you be willing to take him in? If he comes to you.
Do you think that there would be any possibility for that kind of an eventuality? It is quite unlikely that he would come to left and
No, but if he does, do you have any reservation against him, or you'd be open to the idea?
No, as of now, some of the public positions my personal friend Mr. Shashi Tharoor has taken, I have my reservations. For example, what the question of RSS approach. Mr. Rahul Gandhi made a statement, then he did not, Mr. Shashi Tharoor did not clarify in detail, but he said that RSS has changed from their original positions. That I don't attach much importance to the so-called change of RSS, because RSS is controlling the power in India today, and they have a very, very clear-cut distribution of responsibility. To the best of my information is that being the Prime Minister of our country today, through the parliamentary process, Narendra Modi would be compelled to do various things. But RSS made it very clear to Narendra Modi that in the field of education and culture, you implement only what RSS wants. That's what they are doing. This is our information. You see? So, they at times say that in Madhava Sadashiva Golwalkar's work, Bunch of Thoughts, there is this chapter where internal enemies are being identified. Will Shashi Tharoor say that they have abandoned that? Muslims, Christians, and communists are internal enemies to be done away with. Then Savarkar and Golwalkar, they had stated that the German experience of dealing with minority, that's a very good model for us. So this is RSS. So I don't think
So it's a no for Shashi Tharoor, basically, going by what he is saying.
I would not say no for anybody, philosophically and practically, because I cannot rule out the transformation of an individual in his life. As it is famously stated that every, old age, every prophet has a past and every sinner can have a future. That means in the past, great people might have done various things, as Mahatma Gandhi confessed in his experiments with fruits. Today, you are a sinner, but tomorrow you can transform yourself. There are many RSS people having joined the left in Kerala. They have explained what was their experience while being in RSS. We have taken them. We give them responsibility also in the party. So I will not say philosophically or practically that nobody can improve in future.
But as it is, I mean, what he says today is not acceptable to you. He is not acceptable to you.
Some of the positions of Mr. Shashi Tharoor today, I am unable to accept.
Positions or Shashi Tharoor himself?
No. As an individual, he is a highly talented person. No doubt about that. But I wish his talents are properly used for the country and for the party in which he is working.
So we were talking about RSS. Now, it has been exactly 100 years when both the CPI and the RSS were founded. Yours is December, I think, December to 1925.
The slide, 1925 is RSS formation. According to CPIM, the organization started in 1920, October 17, when we had a meeting with M. N. Roy and all that in Tashkent. The Indian meeting was in 1925. So CPI says, and the CPI-ML says, it is only from 1925 we count. We say, we count from 1920, 5 more years. Then, within the country, the most important meeting was held in Kanpur in 1925. So, either year is.
So, my point is, you have completed 100 years. Now, look at where you stand, where the RSS stands, I say, and its ideological protege, the BJP. You seem to have lost out to the RSS. I mean, you have not been able to counter them.
You see, we have lost out to Congress first. We were in the forefront of freedom struggle. The greatest sacrifice communists did during the freedom struggle. Congress also did. So these were the two powerful streams of anti-imperialist freedom struggle. You see, Sardar Bhagat Singh, just before he was hanged, he was becoming a communist. He was reading a work of Lenin. So he was undergoing the transformation. This Gaddar party, you see, which was formed before Russian Revolution, if I remember correctly, 1913 also, 1913, in San Francisco. All the leaders of Gaddar party joined the Communist Party after having come to our country. Then, such glorious past, in RIN uprising, communists were in the forefront. So, this itself is a big question. Now, to be brief, you see, why communists could not only in comparison to various other Indian forces like Congress or RSS, a very famous economist, Joanne Robson, she asked this question to EMS. She said, in China, Communist Party was formed in 1921 and they are now running the country. What happened to you? So the reply of EMS, in fact, covers lot of ground in this. He did not even utter a sentence. He uttered only a word that was caste. That was EMS reply. Unlike China or various other countries, India has this unique phenomena, which is caste. Caste-based discrimination. Caste-based discrimination and determination of identity. And we know in many political parties take recourse to exploiting these combinations and permutations related to caste. Communist Party wanted to address this issue also. In caste, especially among the so-called depressed class factor also is, ingrained. Even Ambedkar, mentioned it. In dealing with this, sufficient success or sufficient scientific tactics we could not develop and implement. That could be one of the reasons. But now we are addressing it. Our understanding is that class struggle is one leg of the revolutionary movement. Addressing caste and social issues, that is another leg of the revolutionary movement. This now we are trying to implement in a systematic manner, which perhaps would be helpful in dealing with the problems that we are faced with.
So there was another debate in the run-up to the party congress. Your draft political resolution was talking about reaching out to the believers. What have you finally decided? How do you reach out to them?
Actually, I thought of getting an opportunity to tell you this. Thank you for asking this question. You see, like caste, religiosity among vast sections of masses is also a very, very important Indian reality. And we communists have been generally portrayed as non-believers, those who are fighting religion, God, and whatnot. In our party constitution, there is no provision that a believer should not join the party. A believer will not be given membership. It's not in Indian context. Karl Marx was of that opinion. Lenin was of that opinion. So, we want to disabuse the minds of the people that we prevent believers from joining the party, or we are against belief in religion or God. That is individual right, you see. If you learn dialectical and historical materialism and you discuss scientific socialism, then you will have to address these issues. But what we are concerned about today is the struggle for the right of the workers, peasants, and toiling masses. Their religion and God should not be brought in unnecessarily. So, this party congress has given a clear-cut direction to every party unit and party comrade that you have to systematically approach believers and bring them into the fold of the party and left and democratic movement. You should not leave these believers to the mercy of the communal forces. They may misuse their belief, whether it's majoritarian communal forces or minority communal forces. This is a very important decision. Differentiate between being communal and being religious.
A few years back, in fact, there was a debate in West Bengal CPI that we should be selling communist manifesto outside temples or where you have such cultural festivals, religious festivals. Now, is that the way you can tackle this problem? I mean,
Definitely. I myself, I had went to Jaydev Khanduli, where these all bowl singers would come near Shantiniketan. It's a big festival, you see. There was Communist Party stall there. During Kali Puja, Communist Party bookshops are being set up in most places. So Bengal is already doing this. And this has to be done in a far greater, intensity.
so, just another question about Kerala. When the Prime Minister was there in May, when your port minister, I think, he said that Gautam Adani is a partner of the government. The Prime Minister took a jibe. That, a minister in a communist government inviting private capital shows changing India. Does that really show changing India? Or is the left also rethinking its economic philosophy?
You see, In 1957, we had EMS government in Kerala. EMS invited, EMS government invited Birla to start Mavur Gwalior rayons in Calicut. See, we are very, very realistic. When you work in a society, an economic structure where individual entrepreneurs and capitalists are also, active, and you cannot have everything in public sector, you see, then you have to engage with the reality. This is the question of a province within India. So that province can have its own independent economic policy, but within the structure of the existing economic social reality. When Lenin had the entire country at his disposal, he introduced new economic policy where for socialism to be built in a single country, you have to engage with the world around. So this is the dialectical approach, and there is nothing unnatural in what, in the Vijayan Port inaugural function, our minister spoke.
We're talking about left losing traction among the youth. Now, I know you have to go, sorry, just three questions, short questions. At a time when you see every youngster in India planning to go to a country or to join a capitalist economy, say they want to go to the US, they want to go to Europe, they want to be part of that. And when you, as the left, have your single point mission of destroying capitalism, how do you bring them into your fold?
See, I would ask them to read Communist Manifesto. In Communist Manifesto, there are pages where Marx and Engels, for the Communist League, they were writing the manifesto of the Communist League. There are pages where the achievements of capitalism in the evolution of human society is being narrated. If you only show those paragraphs, somebody would ask, who has written this wonderful eulogy for capitalism? It's Karl Marx and Engels. They were historically viewing things in a scientific manner. So capitalism did contribute for the evolution and growth of human society. And socialism is what? It would take the society further forward and eliminate certain most inhuman problems within capitalism. The actual producers of wealth, they are alienated from the product of them. And those capitalists who are overseeing it, they appropriate it. So, long and short, this is the main argument in Communist Manifesto and Capital. So, there is no contradiction so far as we are concerned.
Because the Israeli ambassador was with our editor-in-chief Shekhar Gupta in this off-the-cuff program just 2 days back, and he was talking about left. Then he said, there will be dictatorship of the proletariat, and then there will be utopia. So this entire philosophy getting turned into a utopian model.
You see, the problem during the freedom struggle, what was the designation of Mahatma Gandhi? The freedom struggle, Mahatma Gandhi had a designation, that is dictator. EMS had this. In EMS's biography, you would find this. EMS also was a dictator. What does that mean? A person to take the final decision. If you are the dictator in freedom struggle, when you are arrested, you have to nominate another person to take over. Because every stage of that freedom struggle will be decided by this person. So dictator had this historical meaning. But when Hitler and Mussolini came, it got a different connotation. Dictatorship of the proletariat means is very simple. Those who actually work and generate wealth and value, service value also in society. Those who work will decide everything. That is the only meaning. So it is a democracy of workers. But unfortunately, historically, this word dictator got stuck. Therefore, people are able to misinterpret and abuses.
No, so when people talk about utopia, they're saying that this democracy of workers you are talking about is utopian.
That is not utopia. Those who say it's utopia, they don't know history or prehistory. I request them to read ancient history by that American, he is known as Morgan, Louis Morgan. I have the copy somewhere here. Many people describe him as an anthropologist. No, he was an advocate. He was dealing with cases of aboriginals in America. Then he started studying. So, according to Louis Morgan, in ancient society, which can be called prehistoric society, that work was published in 1877 when Marx and Engels were alive. First, one of them read it and they immediately communicated to it is so wonderful the scientific nature of this dialectical and historical materialism. See, many historically important discoveries were made during this period. Darwin comes out with a evolution theory during the same time. I think 1859 or so. I'm saying this from memory. Then Marx and Engels gives this historical materialism, transformation of human society. Then Louis Morgan comes out with this ancient society thesis, where he says that in prehistoric period, people led a society of equality. Even men and women were equal those days. Some families were headed by women, not by men. So it is not a utopia. It existed in early times of human civilization. Therefore, in a modern society also, it can evolve and it can be practical.
There is question about your stance on China. Now, nationalism is driving the debate, political discourse in India. China is being seen as a big, big adversary. And then you were projected as an apologist for China. Does it hurt you? Or are you reconsidering your stance on
You
China?
see, the relationship with India and China, what it was in history, even during Nehru's and Chauhanlai's time, India, Chini, Bhai, Bhai, that was the slogan. Then there were problems. Then we were accused. What for? We said problems with China and India should be discussed across a table and settled. You cannot resolve these problems using armament, using military. Now, what is the approach followed by Vajpayee? He visited China. It's a time for me to go, so my Politburo colleague has come. This can also go in your recording, no problem. This is how Communist Party works.
Okay.
So, Rajiv Gandhi had efforts to discuss and settle. So, these problems need to be settled. We don't have any hesitation to announce this. We don't have any special, affinity for China. China is our neighbor. Now, Communist Party is ruling China. Fahia and Huansang, they came from China. Because of them, Buddhist texts are available. They took copies of that. Rahul Sangartyanan went to Tibet and all that to get back many of those literatures. So, these are two great civilizations, India and China. You cannot say whose civilization was greater. You cannot say whether Confucius was a greater leader or Buddha was a greater leader. In every corner of the world, you have great civilizations. You see? So, if China and India resolve their border problems and decide to live in peace, world would change because it's two great civilizations and nations. America doesn't want that. What is American approach? When India was supporting Bangladesh for its liberation, they sent 7th Fleet against whom? Against India. How can Narendra Modi or Narasimha Rao or even Rahul Gandhi forget that? So, we have to be historically grounded. CPIM position we can say anywhere, everywhere. We don't have any hesitation. There should be better relationship with these two historically important countries. That is what we stand for, and we are not apologetic about it.